Hey folks, I'm going to give you a quick rundown on how to build a manual transaction with the Kin Laboratory right now. This is the only way for you to get Kin off of a Ledger device if you've already put it on there on the Kin 3 blockchain. So the first step that you're going to do is navigate to the transaction builder in the Kin Laboratory. The link is below. And you'll need to get the public key for your Ledger account, which can be got at the Ledger viewer. Once you've put that in as the source account, you'll be able to come down here and click on Fetch Next Sequence Number for the account. That'll automatically load the transaction sequence number, because otherwise that's going to be a real pain for you to figure out. In the next cell we see base fee, and it says optional because it would be optional for the Stellar network. It is not optional here. Kin does require that any app that does not have a pre-approved memo API field, that is, any app that's not an approved ecosystem partner, pays a fee. It's a little bit confusing here because we're sending fractions of a kin as the fee. The network base fee is 100 stroops, which is 0.01 kin. So it's actually asking us to enter the fee in stroops. So we need to enter 100, which will be 0.01 kin when the transaction is actually taken. The memo field here, you don't need to put anything in there. I've added the text memo builder so that I can verify that this is the transaction that moved from wallet to wallet. Time bounds, it's once again says optional, might be optional in some integrations from the Stellar Laboratory. It is not optional with Kin. You will need to put in a Unix timestamp from Epoch for the upper and lower bounds of the transaction. If you have no idea what the hell that means, click on the Unix timestamp link here and you'll be taken to an epoch converter calculator page. On that page, simply adjust the date to something like 2 days in the future and click human date to timestamp. It will convert it and give you an epoch timestamp. You're going to come back to the lab and input that as your max upper bounds, and for the lower bounds you can just put 1. Basically what we're saying is no matter when this transaction was submitted to the network from the beginning of time up until 2 days from now, it should be considered valid and not expired. We want to basically give the blockchain enough time to process this without it expiring. For Stellar smart contracts, or rather Kin smart contracts, you may change the epoch time to only allow certain events to take place at certain times with various operations, but that's not something we need to worry about when we're making a generic transaction. Underneath all that, you'll be able to add operations to the transaction. I believe the Kin blockchain said they can hold 10 operations per transaction, but that's something we still need to verify. You'll be able to select the operation type, and in this case we want payment. For the payment, we're going to add in a destination. That's another public address on the Kin blockchain. In this case, it's my backed up new Kinny wallet that I've made for these tutorials, so I'll be sending 1 Kin over to that. For asset, we're going to select native because Kin is the native asset on its own blockchain. Alphanumeric 4 and alphanumeric 12 are for putting in key codes for other assets that exist on the blockchain. We don't know if Kin is actually supporting other assets yet, but if there were tokens on the Kin blockchain, you would be able to transfer those using alphanumeric 4 and alphanumeric 12. For amount here, we're putting 1. This is 1 whole Kin. It is not the same as up above where it was asking you for the amount in Stroop. So this is actually the amount of Kin that you want to send. Source account, not necessary here. We've declared the source account at the start of the transaction. We might declare a separate source account if we had some sort of account that we managed, or this was, a token contract managing ICO recipients or something like that, where we are signing on behalf of another wallet. If you put in everything successfully, you should see success transaction envelope XDR. This is the transaction envelope that we're going to use. It's still a few steps before it actually hits the blockchain though. The one thing we want to check here is that your network passphrase is kin mainnet space semicolon space December 2018. If that is not the network passphrase you have, you are not sending on the Kin mainnet. This is not Kin 3. You're on something else. Start over, go to a different website, try again. If that says success and the network passphrase is correct, hit sign in transaction signer. It's going to take you to the next page. It will give you an overview once again of your transaction, and you can verify all that information. And then you'll come down to signatures. You'll remember in the ledger video I told you need to know your BPI path. If you haven't set the default 44/2017-0 BIP path, you will need to modify this here. You'll then unlock your ledger device, which I do not have unlocked at the moment, so bear with me. And once you've unlocked it, open the Kin app and select Sign with BIP path. It will say Waiting for Wallet. You will confirm it then on your ledger, and it should say Success. You'll see the transaction signed along with its public signature, and then you'll click on Submit to Post Transaction Endpoint. This will take you to the Endpoint Explorer page, and the selected endpoint should be Post Transaction. We'll see once again the envelope and the transaction signature, and we should be able to just click Submit and have it post to the endpoint on the blockchain. There we go, it's been successfully posted to the blockchain, and so we should be able to go over to our recipient address